Welcome to the MattyRocks Experience in the Zoom session interviews, all the way from my home in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today I am joined with special guest all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Lady Gaga Impersonator, Tierney Allen.
Hi. Thanks for
Welcome.
having me. Thank you. It took us
Absolutely.
a
And
long time.
finally, we are able to get this done after many attempts.
Right?
So thanks again for joining me today. First off, Tierney, I want to get an idea for how you and the family are holding up during this crazy time in our lives.
Just like anyone, it's been a roller coaster. You start out like, I can do this. And then I had a really difficult time transitioning everything with my daughter, realizing that we weren't going to be supported financially by our government. And once we got through that, my family made a game plan. We're like, you know what? We're not going to wait for someone to help us. Let's help ourselves. And so we had to adapt with the times and create a whole technological approach to performing. And that's really helped our family, both financially and mentally.
Right on. What things have you been doing specifically musically to keep yourself fluent and going, during this time?
To be honest, I'm practicing and singing and playing guitar more than ever. I don't know if I have more time or we're just more focused on performing regularly through our virtual experiences. But my husband and I, we've never played music more, and it's really cool because we've refound our roots. My piano playing has gotten so much better. His guitar playing, so yeah, we just play every day now.
Isn't music wonderful? I mean, it just fills our life with so much joy.
It does. It does. I don't know what we would do without it. I mean, it's they say that music changes you on a scientific level, the way you feel it and vibe and everything. And to be able to be musicians during this time, I think that's a big savior for us.
Right on. So what has life been like in Las Vegas? And the craziness of the Strip being shut down. I mean, this is history right here. How has this affected the entertainment industry in that part of the world?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, Las Vegas is one of the meccas for entertainment. And to be told in one day, you are not essential. That was a huge hit for all of us to be told not only you can't go to your jobs, you can't perform, but you are not an essential person. And that was so hard because we entertain the world. We are so important during normal times, and all of a sudden we're not important anymore. So, that struck a lot of people. And then to know that we weren't going to be supported by our governments, when it comes to unemployment and stuff. We are very lucky to have the creativity to take our performances online, but not everyone has that opportunity. And so we've tried to give back to our friends that don't have those opportunities, and support each other. I feel like the entertainment community has come together in a way that we never did before to support each other.
Yeah, it's just such a crazy time, but you guys, life will hopefully get back to normal as we know it, and that place is going to be booming once again.
I hope so. I mean, they have their plans for reopening the casinos, but no matter what, entertainment is last. We are the last ones to come about, and there's no dates. So all we can do is just keep our skills honed until then and be ready when the call comes.
We've all had time to reflect on ourselves during this time, probably doing a lot more thinking about ourselves than we've cared to think about. But has there been anything that you have realized or thought about yourself during this time that maybe you have never realized before?
Absolutely. I think a lot of us have a lot of these aha moments during quarantine. At first, it was like we were imprisoned, but then you realize that you have these other strengths. Like, this sounds so weird, but we are restaurant people, my family. We love to dine out at restaurants, but this challenged us to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at home. And so, yeah, we could cook, but it forced us out of our comfort bubble and forced us to feed ourselves in a different way. If it pushed me to educate my daughter more, ritualistically. Like before, she's 3 years old, I just kind of give her a little lesson here and there, but I needed something to stimulate her regularly. So I found the teacher in me, and that I can educate my child. So there are a lot of positives that have come out of this thing.
It's almost been a blessing and a curse at the same time. And
Totally.
I totally identify with you on the cooking part. I have really homed in on my cooking, and have I think I've only eaten out 3 times, maybe 4 times during this whole entire experience.
Hmm.
But otherwise it's been home cooked meals the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my kids absolutely love my cooking, and I know that it's something that I've bettered myself, and I love
Uh-huh.
my cooking.
That's awesome. See, you found the chef within yourself, and
Absolutely.
I found the planner within myself. Like before, I'm like, how am I supposed to plan a whole week's worth of meals? Well, we did it. And look, and we can do it. And my husband and I, we've discussed that we want to keep this going for our life after. It saves so much money. We're healthier, we're happier, not fighting with the people at the restaurant. I don't know. It was just um, yeah, just finding a whole new good side of ourselves.
Before all this craziness happened, what were some of the highlights for you? Uh, I want to say probably 2019, end of 2019 into 2020, that you can
Hmm.
remember before life took this turn for us.
Well, I mean, I feel like I 2019 was probably the biggest year of my career as a Lady Gaga impersonator. It was, I mean, I was 7 months headlining at Legends in Concert, tons of gigs left and right. I was getting a lot of TV promo. I mean, it was the height of my career, and 2020 was shaping up to be even better. And the day the pandemic, the lockdown started, it was the day I was supposed to go on MasterChef with Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I was supposed to perform on the show with a couple of other legends. We were going to drive down there, do a whole shoot with the show. And the day before the lockdown happened, they're like, yeah, I don't think we're going to go. Everything stopped. So, and there was so many other amazing things that were supposed to happen with Legends in Concert this year that got stopped within one flight to the East Coast. I landed, everything was gone. And so that was a humongous hit on just like what I projected for my life or for my career. I expected to be able to support my family on the other side. My husband is a breadwinner. I thought I could bring so much more with such a big year, but then it was just all taken away from us.
What was your show like in Wisconsin? Because was that one almost when it was that one of your last shows?
That was my second to last one.
Okay.
So that was when things started getting a little funky. Like even it was 20 people in the cast and crew traveling together, and we were all very nervous, but because we heard what was going on the other side of the world, so we decided to bring masks, and everyone looked at us like we were crazy. Um, then we come back, and then things start getting worse and worse. And I honestly didn't think the very last gig that happened in Virginia, it was a 3-day engagement. I didn't think that was going to happen. But I still went. And the day after I got back from that casino performance, the casino closed. So it was just a really scary, uncertain time.
Right on. Tierney, if you would take MattyRocks listeners back to the early years of your life in San Jose,
Hmm.
Santa Cruz area. I know there was some Los Angeles in there, but give us
Uh-huh.
some insight to how music came into your life.
Oh my gosh. Well, music began a long time ago when I was probably about 6 or 7. I was obsessed with classical music and I had to be a violinist. And there's a whole story with that. But I just grew up as a classically trained violinist. I went to performing arts middle school where I was introduced to singing. If you go to the school, you have to be in choir. And so I got exposed to that, and then I just got the performing bug. I just was obsessed and I knew I had to be a pop star. And it's just so funny that it ended up happening this way, that I may not have made it in the grand, huge fame way, but I do get to be a pop star for a certain amount of time on stage. And so backing up to say, I moved to LA to try and make it as a star. Everyone wants to be a star. So I moved to LA, and that's where I was told that I looked like Lady Gaga. And this was 10 and a half years ago, maybe 11 years ago, when Kate Beckinsale was one of my customers, and she told me I looked exactly like Lady Gaga, that I should make a job from it. And so that's when I, look online and start researching. Oh my God, this is so cool. But then eventually I moved back home to Santa Cruz and had to go back to normal life. but I could not let music go. I could not let this dream go. And so while I was working at Jamba Juice, I was still creating a web show or trying to put together bands, trying to play acoustic sets at coffee shops. I was trying to find any possible way. And then I became a flight attendant, which threw my whole trajectory of my life the other way, but I still kept music going. I happened to find pilots who were also musicians, and we would jam in our hotel rooms. And all the while I was trying to figure out, how can I make being a Lady Gaga impersonator a full-time job? I don't want to be a flight attendant. I don't want to have a normal job. How do I take this full time? And that's when I met my husband. I met him on an overnight here in Las Vegas. I was at karaoke. He walked in, and it was the most gorgeous man I ever saw. And that was it. And so he helped me eventually take my career to full time, take it to that professional level.
Good for you. Who were the musical influences early on in your life who have helped to kind of shape and mold who you are as an entertainer today?
Definitely Elton John. I grew up obsessed with Elton John because of my mom, and I said, I want to be a violinist for Elton John's orchestra. And but his music, his flamboyancy, the fun on stage, but also very classically trained, was very inspiring to me. My mom always raised me that if you're going to play music, you're going to learn how to do it right. So anytime I wanted to pick up a new instrument, she put me in proper lessons. I even took opera lessons for a while. So definitely Elton John, Queen, Freddie Mercury, definitely Britney Spears was a part of it. On the entertainer aspect, I was enthralled with her confidence and her power on stage, being able to sing and dance at the same time. And I think those were some major parts. And then my dad, sprinkled in, Led Zeppelin and the Doors. And so I was able to be raised with a very solid rock foundation with some pop and definitely classical too.
I want you to take us back to, I want you to take the viewers back to the moment that you had that interaction with Kate Beckinsale.
Uh-huh.
I believe it was at Fred Siegel's.
Uh-huh.
And I want you to give us some insight to that conversation and how it changed your life.
Sure. I mean, I could close my eyes plain as day and see it happening all over again. I was ringing up her sunglasses. She liked to buy a lot of sunglasses. And her assistant had pulled out their pocketbook, and she was paying for everything. And I was typing her up. And then Kate walks around right in front of my monitor right here. And she's like, Tierney. I'm like, oh, she knows my name. You look like that Lady Gaga. And I kind of stopped what I was doing. I looked up and I said, who's Lady Gaga? She said, oh, that girl that sings that Just Dance song. And oh, I thought that was Ashley Simpson. She said, no, that's Lady Gaga. You look so much like her. You could probably impersonate her. I'm like, impersonation? And she's like, yeah, celebrities. And she starts going on and on. Celebrities need impersonators to help them with security or in movies or whatever, but you could make a job doing this. Look into it. And this was the most she ever talked to me. I worked with her a lot, and she was always so sweet, but also very quiet because I worked with her assistant more. And then this was the most we talked. And when somebody of that level of fame tells you this, you listen. And it just stuck in me, almost like the movie Inception. She put an idea in my head, and it just grew. I went home from work that day. I'm like, I talked to Kate Beckinsale, and she said this. And I get on my MacBook. I'm like, Lady Gaga, she's a musician. She's not just like a lip syncer. She actually writes. And I just fell down this rabbit hole of this woman, Lady Gaga, Stephanie Germanotta, and just went from there. So it was, like I said, if a celebrity tells you something so important and gives you life advice, you listen.
And just think about it. If Kate Beckinsale doesn't have that conversation with you,
Mm-hmm.
are you where you are today?
I don't know. And that's where it was so cool to have this full circle moment with her this past year. It made the news because I was on local news often with Legends in Concert. The story got to her of how I started. And then she was like, wow, it was some simple throwaway comment I made changed this girl's life. I'm so happy for you. And it was such a validating moment. Like, she now knows the power of her words.
That's amazing. That is
Mhm.
amazing. So after you have this interaction and she says this to
Mhm.
you, there's
Mhm.
obviously got to be some interest. You go and you do some research, you find out who
Mhm.
Lady Gaga is.
Yeah.
You got to put a plan in place. Well,
Yeah.
what does that plan look like and how do you execute it?
The plan was, because this happened right before Halloween, and Halloween is my life. Like, I dress up for a living now. Like, I love Halloween. So when she told me this, I'm like, well, what if I test the waters? What if I try and be Lady Gaga for Halloween and see what people think, if it's well received or not, even though it's Halloween? So I went down to Melrose and I had some guy in these shishi stores pick out a whole Lady Gaga style outfit, because at the time I didn't know about wearing replica costumes. So I just put together something, and I got the wig, crappy wig, I don't know what I'm doing. And I go party on in West Hollywood, and that's humongous. It's right in the gay community. If the gays like you, you're in. So that's what I did. I was Lady Gaga, and the entire night I was, oh my God, it's Lady Gaga, it's Lady Gaga. It was just constant, and it just really fed, my validation of, oh shit, I do look like her. Wow. Like, I wonder, like, if I actually try hard, I wonder how much further I can go with this. And that's, again, after Halloween, I was set. I was like, let's make this a job. How? Let's do this.
Such an amazing experience. I want you to talk about your first ever performance taking on Lady Gaga's role.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
And what's the thought process? I mean, what's the feeling like in your mind? I mean, what are you thinking before you take the stage?
Mm-hmm. Well, back then, so this is just like almost 11 years ago. My first gig, I found it on Craigslist. Someone had posted looking for an impersonator to perform for a birthday party. So I wrote and I sent them, my Halloween pictures, and they're like, let's meet for Starbucks. So we sit, and he's like, yeah, I'd like you to sing. I'd like you to do these songs, and I'll give you the tracks, and you can lip sync. And immediately I was faced with, oh no, I can sing. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, let me sing. I'd love to sing for your party. And they're like, oh my God, this is great. Okay. And so this was my very first chance to put together a show, whether like my look, the music, the performance. It was very overwhelming, and I was crapping myself because it was unlike anything I've ever done before. I've always either been myself, or I've been in a choir or an orchestra or a band, but this one was just me trying to be someone else. So putting together this little mini show and researching, how does Lady Gaga move? Like, what are these dance moves she does? And so I did the best for my very first time. But when I think back to, I'm like, man, I could have done so much better. But that's part of any art, is learning how to do better and better.
You're going to have to adapt and you're going to have to perfect it, and it's going to take
Yeah.
time. And you've obviously done that.
Thank you. It's taken a long time, and especially after meeting my husband, he was able to help me hone in on things. And even now, I have a lot of things that I work on. He helps me with my vocals to strengthen, or not beat myself up so much about things. We need to learn to be kind to each other, or kind to ourselves, that is.
You can't be so hard on ourselves. I'm hard on myself as MattyRocks.
Oh
And
yeah,
we've got to accept who we are, and the work we do, and know that the hard work we put into it is going to come out good.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
how did the opportunity come to be for you to join up with Legends in Concerts? I mean, they've been around since 1983. I mean,
Hmm.
they're a pretty big outlet. How did that
Yeah,
come
and
to
now
be for
they're the
you?
longest running show in Las Vegas. So I had met my husband, and maybe a year and a half after we were dating and moved in together and this and that, we got an audition, or he got me an audition with all the executives. And I go in, and when you audition for Legends, you're just in their office. You're not on stage. You don't have all the lights and the sounds, everything. You are literally just like this, full costume, trying to create a moment, and I was scared shitless. So I did my best, and my husband also performed for them, and it kind of just fizzled. This must have been maybe 2012. It just kind of fizzled, never heard anything back. And I figured, maybe they're just waiting to see me kind of grow more into my role. Maybe I'm too new at this, who knows? And it wasn't until I'd say probably is when Art Pop came out. The Art Pop album came out, and I just decided to just go for it. Let's do this huge album. Let's do all the looks. I'm gonna book all the gigs. And that's when one of the executives, Mark Mercer, just happened to be at a club gig I was doing. He was right there, front row center, and I rip off my shirt and have my seashell bras on, and he's like, "You're gonna be in Legends." And he spent that entire following year preparing me to go into Legends. So I was doing promotional events for them. I was doing photo shoots. I was basically paying my dues. Sometimes they like to test an artist out and see how you do with the material. And that's kind of what happened with me. They gave me a year to get used to that level of performing. And then they offered me my first show. I believe it was in Louisiana, a limited engagement. That went well. So then I was offered Hawaii, and I got to perform in Hawaii for a while.
Good for you.
So it's for me, everyone's road with Legends is different. Some people just get to go right in. Some people have to pay the dues. And I think for my situation, paying the dues made it that much more special. It wasn't just handed to me. And I like to work for what I'm given.
So rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of work that goes into this, not only, the singing, but there's obviously choreography moves that you've got to learn, and you've got to, and do you have a team that works with you? I mean, how do you get those moves down?
Oh, Lord. I wish I had a team. But I'm actually a trained dancer. I went to ballet school for a long time, and jazz, tap, all the things. So being a trained dancer already, I have natural movement. I'm able to pick up choreography very easily. I haven't, finished learning Stupid Love choreography, the newest song, but that's because life is happening. And when you do Legends in concert, you usually use their choreography, or you kind of do a mix of what your, Lady Gaga choreography with theirs. And so it's not as essential to learn every single move anymore like it used to be. So I do my best to learn the new stuff, but man, if you test me on the older Poker Face, Just Dance, I know all of it. And it was all self-taught. You watch the videos and you do it.
Hard work goes into all that, and
Yeah.
it pays off.
Thank you.
Lady Gaga she's forever changing her looks, and her appearance. How do you keep up with all of those different changes and know what to incorporate into your performance?
It's very difficult. In a contrasting experience, my husband does Elvis. There's only, he passed away a long time ago. There's only so many looks you can do, so many songs and versions. Lady Gaga, with her ever evolving, it's expensive. You're always having to invest in new costumes and wigs, and especially pairing it with a social media presence, is you always want to be on top of the newest looks because she's always changing. But when it comes to Legends in concert or performing for even private events, you really try to choose the most iconic or well-known looks that the average person would know. So I get asked all the time, "Where's your meat dress?" Because 10 years ago, she did the meat dress and people still remember that. So I just try and pick looks that were televised, that like I said, the average person knows. So right now, my staple is the Super Bowl. Everyone saw the Super Bowl performance, and they're always going to remember it. Like we always remember Prince's Super Bowl performance. So I do that. And then I bring out the more obscure looks for the fans. And that's my social media stuff that I do. The newest music video, I have to get it just right. The day that it comes out, how do I figure out how to do that look? What makeup do I have? How do I, So it's a balancing act for different demographics.
Well, that Super Bowl performance that she did is by far one of my most favorite moments in a Super Bowl. Have you done it? Have you done it yet?
Oh yeah. I have that set, the music cut and everything. I've actually done the full set I headlined, I think it was 2017 at San Luis Obispo Pride Festival. And I did the entire Super Bowl performance exactly as she did. And it's tiring. Oh my gosh.
Well, I have not seen that. I would love to see that. So I don't know where that footage is. I'd love to see it
out there. And here's why. Because I went back to work too soon after having a baby. I told myself I had my daughter in October and work started coming back in January. And I was too excited to get back so that when I booked things, my body wasn't ready. My mentality wasn't ready. As much as I wanted to go back to work, I needed to really, looking back, I needed to honor my new motherhood. And so when I did the San Luis Obispo show, I did my best, but I was not proud of it. I actually didn't even do meet and greet after. I was pretty devastated with how I did. I almost fell. Yeah, so that at that performance with how that went, I'm like, you know what? I need to step back. I need to honor my motherhood and my child and take a break. And so I didn't perform again until my daughter turned 2 years old. And that's when I called Legends. So like, I want to go back to work. And then they put me at the Tropicana.
Well, good for you. And I'm sure you'll do
Thank
that
you.
performance another time. We'll get an
Yeah.
opportunity to see it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone has never attended a Legends show,
Mm-hmm.
what experience or what can they expect from this type of show?
Well, mostly it depends on what location you go to. When it comes to our Las Vegas location, what they've tried to do is bring back the old feel of Las Vegas when it comes to having an MC of the show, having showgirls and that just vintage Vegas feel, but also with new cutting edge artists. You're always going to find an Elvis in a Legends in concert because Elvis is Elvis. And then they use they have a formula. I don't know exactly their formula, but they always try and have an older um, icon and some new pop. And so that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a complete experience. What I hear from reviews or from customers, guests coming to the show that said that they loved, that they felt like they were there, that they were actually watching the artist. Like at first, you sit there, all right, is this person really like it? But most of the time they feel like they're transported to that person's concert. And that's what they want to create for people, especially for the artists that have passed away and you're never going to get to see.
Right.
So I think that's their goal, ultimate goal.
Well, I've never seen a Lady Gaga performance, and anything I've ever seen of you, that's probably the closest I'm going to get for now. And you do a great
Thank
job
you.
at it.
Thank you very much.
I want you to talk about some of the other impersonators that you've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And has there been any impersonator that has stood out to you, has been a role model to you that you've really looked up to?
It might sound really cheesy, but I look up to my husband so much. I think everyone, there's always a competitions with Elvis, but my husband, he just works so hard to get it right on all levels, on his moves, his look, his vocals. He has never settled, even though he performs 7 nights a week at All Shook Up. He has never gotten in that autopilot mode where it's just whatever. Like he's constantly growing and trying to perfect himself. And so he's just been an inspiration. I idolize him, and he just so happens to be my husband.
That's not cheesy at all, Tierney.
Okay.
That's beautiful. And
Thank you.
you kind of like stole my thunder on my next question, but that's great. But I'm gonna add to this question.
Sure.
How has his support been instrumental in what you've accomplished in your role?
It's been humongous. I mean, I've never had to deal or experience having a partner that is jealous or, oh, you're getting too many gigs or you're too busy. Like it's like, yeah, babe, good for you. Or, I know that when he watches me in the show, when I come off stage and we meet, he's not going to just like, you did a good job, babe. He's like, babe, you did amazing. But here's what we need to work on. Like he knows that I want to grow, and he's not afraid to give me the constructive criticism to help me grow. And I love that. He's not walking on eggshells to we're helping each other. Like I've learned so much about Elvis that I can help him. Like, babe, do you think maybe you can come at that note from a different place? Because when Elvis did it, and he's like, oh yeah. So I've never had to experience the jealous partner. I've just constant support. Even now when having our daughter, he's like, it's okay, I got her. You go ahead and do your interview. You go ahead and do your cameos. So I'm very lucky in that way.
Good for you. Good for both of you.
Thank you.
You are a wife and a mother. And I would like to
Mhm.
know, and I think other people would like to know who are, uh, in this industry and, could learn from this. But how do you balance the entertainment lifestyle and the motherhood to make it all
Mhm.
work?
At first, it's a learning process, right? Having how do I have this baby and how do I do my makeup and it and the struggle came from trying to keep it separate, trying to keep all my roles separate. But when over the years I've learned when you combine it all together, everything is so much easier. So say I'm in my baby, I gotta go do my makeup for Lady Gaga. Do you want to come do your makeup too? Yeah, we go do it together. Instead of like go over there, I gotta do this. I incorporating my daughter, incorporating my husband into this lifestyle has made everything so much easier. Because people ask that a lot, and that's what I figured out. And now she knows she's getting older. She's like, "Mommy's got to go record her videos to make money, or Daddy's got to go work." And so she knows when that door is closed to our studio here, don't come in. She's learned that she's becoming this show child that respects our space, but also can be a part of it. Like she learns all the Lady Gaga songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You and your husband have actually shared a role. He played the role of Jackson Maine.
Yeah.
How did you get him to do this with you?
Oh, it was so easy. The movie came out and I look and he has these gorgeous blue eyes. And I think Bradley Cooper's gorgeous. And I looked at Travis, I'm like, you could do this. And he was like, yeah, I probably can. My husband grew up being a country singer. He's performed in Nashville. He's done, tons of country stuff. So transitioning to Bradley Cooper or Jackson Maine was actually a pretty seamless thing for him. And it was so fun developing that character, buying him the wig and the beard and putting together the outfit that I became like this giddy schoolgirl all over again. Like, oh my God, babe, you look really hot. And he was like, stop it. I'm still me. I was like, I know, but like, you're not you. And so that's been fun. And at first he didn't really take it serious. Like he took it seriously, but he didn't he's like, I know shallow, it's fine. But like when we started booking the act out for real events, I would hear him go into our studio and he'd start practicing his talking voice or, Jackson Maine voice. And we started learning all the other songs of the soundtrack. And I could see he was getting excited to do a new role. So it kind of gave him the spark again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys do an amazing job at that.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and I'm going to tell you, just to give you a little known secret here, that my daughter Cora and I
Uh-huh.
actually did Shallow together. So I have
Aw,
played the role of Jackson Maine. I did sing those
there you go.
parts a cappella, nothing else. And
Aw,
it turned out really good. And we got a lot of good reception on our Facebook video.
that's awesome. I mean, who
So,
doesn't like to see a daddy and a daughter sing "Shallow" together? That's
right.
the sweetest thing ever. Yeah.
Um, so when you were playing these shows right across the street from Lady Gaga when she was at the
Oh crap.
MGM. She was at the MGM.
Uh-huh.
And is there a certain nerve-wracking feeling knowing that she's across the street, you're over
Oh yeah.
here, and you're impersonating her?
Yes, there is a lot of pressure. Not pressure. It's self-created
Hmm.
because I'm hoping and praying maybe someone from her team is going to come by or someone from that goes to see her then comes to see me. I mean, I'm on the billboard. I was on the billboard and the visuals right across the street from her. It also made me wonder, does she know I'm over here? Does she care? I started getting in my head a little bit. Like every time she comes to town, I just feel like the energy changes in the city that she's here. Oh my God. Maybe this time we'll meet, or maybe this time she'll come to my show. And she never comes. But um
How do you
yeah,
know
so
that?
that's
Maybe she has. You just don't know.
she hasn't. We know that she hasn't.
Okay.
Frank Marino, our host of Tropicana Legends of Concert, he met her and talked to her about me and she had no idea. So that was a surprise, but it just I don't know. It's I'm actually speechless.
But you have
An
gotten
entire
some.
energy table.
But
I've
you
gotten
have gotten
close.
some. You have gotten some positive comments about your show from people that are close to her.
Yeah. They know about Legends. I mean, they allow us to let me perform. I mean, there's been instances in the past with legends that an artist finds out about, and they've actually received a cease and desist, you know. So artists, they will know if there's someone impersonating them, and are they going to let it happen? Yes. So they've allowed it. I actually went to the Park MGM one time dressed as her and created a whole mob situation with fans. And I fear immediately, is she going to find out? Is she going to get mad at me? Or is she going to approve? Or I don't know. But I've never been so much in my head about her approval until she came to town. And now it's a different ball game. You know, I want to make sure that I've always wanted to do her proud, but now knowing that she might see me closer, I just want to do the best I can, do her proud, because she deserves it.
If you did have or get that opportunity or interaction with her, what would you say to her?
I get asked this a lot. I'd probably crap myself. No. I would ask her, first I would thank her, because the ability to do what I do for this many years is all because she lets us, you know, and thank her for not just my career, but for my husband. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have met my husband, and I wouldn't have my daughter. And so I would love for her to know the impact she's made on our life. That, and then I would love to know her opinion of impersonators, because some artists, you know, they really don't like them. Some of them love them. Some of them, I don't know. She's so far, we are very in the dark about her approval or disapproval of impersonators, specifically cisgendered women impersonators, ones that sing live and perform. We know that she loves drag queens, but I would love to know her perspective. And do you approve or not, or can I do anything else to do better?
Well, hopefully you'll get that interaction one day, and that would be amazing.
Hope so.
But you have had some big names see your show.
Yeah. Well, specifically seeing our show, we had Chris Jericho come, the WWE wrestler guy. He came to our show. I know Murray Sawchuk comes often, or Sawhill Sawchuk. Murray, he's a magician. He's come to our show a bunch of times, and I tease him on stage. And I'm friends with Rich Little's daughter. Rich Little's come, and so I mean, you know, just kind of local Vegas royalty has come, and it's been an honor to perform for them and kind of get their approval, you know.
Right on. Tierney, I want you to think back through your entire performing entertainment career up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment to date?
Biggest accomplishment. I mean, being able to be a part of Legends is huge, because they are what everyone strives for. You want to get to that level to be able to be in Legends, a concert. So when that happened, I feel like my career and life changed drastically. And since then, I think some of the biggest highlights were when they had us be on Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood. Or the Billboard Music Awards. I mean, these were some experiences that I never would have experienced otherwise. Or something that happened recently was being interviewed and published in Time Magazine. That was really, really incredible. And it wasn't just for our performing. It was about us and my family and what we're experiencing during quarantine. I felt like our voices were heard, and we were able to do something for an entire community, speak for an entire community that couldn't be heard otherwise. So Time Magazine might be probably one of the biggest highlights when I think about it.
Awesome. What does the future hold for Tierney Island and all of the Lady Gaga tribute?
Oh, goodness. Well, to be honest, right now I'm kind of finding myself in a little bit of a limbo spot, because I've been diagnosed with stage 2, stage 3 breast cancer. And so now I'm about to have a really long road with that, with chemotherapy and some sort of surgery and radiation. And so when it comes to my Lady Gaga tribute, it's kind of up in the air. What I'm used to when an album drops is I throw myself completely into the album, recreate every look, learn every song, learn every dance move, everything. And as Lady Gaga's album's about to come out right now, it's right as I'm about to start my treatment for cancer. So I don't know what's going to happen. I've thought about the idea of, doing a proverbial hanging up my wig to just focus on my health. Some people have suggested create a bunch of content before this happens, and then you'll have something to post. I worry about losing relevancy. I worry about losing my position in my company that I've worked really hard to get to with Legends. I worry about a lot of that stuff, but it kind of doesn't matter when I know that I'm going to be fighting for my life and fighting for my family. So it's kind of up in the air.
Devastating news. I appreciate you sharing that with me. And like I've said, you will be in continual thought and prayer
Thank you. I appreciate
during that time. And if there's anything that, I can do to help, get your work out there, I'm there for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just not sure what's going to happen. And if you have any tips or ideas, I'm open ears, because I don't want to lose everything while you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I will give you one recommendation. I don't know where you are spiritually in your life, but I will tell you this, Tierney, and that is to trust your waymaker. Okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Trust your waymaker,
sure.
because he makes everything possible.
Sure.
Okay?
I appreciate that.
Where can fans and followers keep up with everything that's going on with you? Where would you direct them?
I am very active on Instagram. I don't know why I've just chosen that as my platform. Stories. I always am posting stories, updates on whether it's new looks and makeup or it's my cancer treatment. I've decided to be open about how everything goes. I don't like the idea of hiding this like it's something, a dirty secret. I've been open with my life before this. Why not share this now? And maybe there's someone out there in the entertainment industry that's going through it, and maybe it could help them seeing this. And also, my way of processing difficult things is through humor. So you'll see a lot of that, like, effing cancer, or I making light of things helps me with processing and not getting too deep in a dark hole. And you can find that on my Instagram at Vegas Lady Gaga.
Right on. Tierney, I'm going to give you the same opportunity I give every big name in music that I sit one-on-one with or have these conversations with. And that is a message to MattyRocks listeners or viewers around the United States and around the world who are going to not only hear this interview, but see this interview.
Ooh.
What would you like to say to them?
What I like to say? Don't stop playing or listening to music. Music makes the world go round. Every kind of music, it changes your soul. It feeds your soul. So just keep listening and keep searching too. Never settle in just one kind of music. There's so many combinations within the musical scales, and there's never going to be an end to music. So never stop searching and finding something new for your soul to enjoy.
Good message. Tierney, is there anything that you would like to add? Anything that I've missed or left out?
I don't think so. I really liked when you asked about balancing mom, wife, and work. And as a message to women out there, maybe in the entertainment industry, just because you have a baby doesn't mean your life has to end and you can only be one thing, that you only have to be a mother. There is a way to combine it all and be happy and still be a beautiful, strong woman. I want women to know that it's not the end. It's just the beginning.
Another great message.
Thank you.
Tierney, thank you again for taking the time out of your day to sit with me, to talk with me on Zoom. This was truly an honor. And I wish you nothing but continued success in everything you've got going on in your entertainment arena, your home life, your new battle that you'll be facing very strongly.
Thank you so much, Maddie. I appreciate it.
Okay. You've heard it here, MattyRocks listeners. The Zoom session interviews of MattyRocks and Tierney Allen. Thanks again,
Thank
Tierney.
you. Thank you, Maddie.
MattyRocks out.